Here we have a video series that describes the third unit for ABCSA curriculum. This concerns what I would call flow of control, which is to say if statements, and a little bit of comparison. Um, Here we have a main program, and you can see over here it has run successfully and it prints out a bunch of things. And we're going to go through this. We're going to take a tour of this code, and it's what we call straight line code, which is to say there's no methods in this code other than the main method. The only thing that's in this code that sort of alters the behavior or makes it interesting are a variety of if statements. And so, as always, we start off with a hello world statement, and then these first several lines of code. Let's see, that's 7 lines of code with a blank spot because I kind of divided it into 2 parts. So let's first talk about these first 4 lines of code. But all these lines of code here that I've highlighted declare boolean variables, and there's 7 boolean variables that are declared and assigned. The first 4 are just assigned directly to a literal boolean value, so the literal boolean true is used for each of them. We could change that. Of course, the alternative to true is literal boolean false, such as this. I'm going to go ahead and have them all be true for now. These 4 variables have very distinct long names that I think will help us reason about how logical expressions get processed in Java. The first boolean has the name it is raining, and as I said, it has the value true. The second boolean is I brought my umbrella. The third boolean is I wore my felt hat. And the fourth boolean is I brought pure sodium. You should know, by the way, if you bring pure sodium with you out into the rain or any time you might get it wet, that's not good because pure sodium and water kind of explode when they get together. But to kind of keep your interest, we're going to keep our eye on the idea that if you bring sodium and it rains, that could be trouble. And indeed, this is what we come up with next. We have another boolean whose name is rain with umbrella, and that is formed. Its value is assigned to a combination of 2 of the previous boolean values. One is the variable it is raining, and the other is I brought my umbrella. Between them, there's this double ampersand, and the double ampersand symbol in Java corresponds to the AND operator. In other words, when both of these are true, then the AND operator will return or will evaluate, will cause the expression I'm highlighting now to become true, and otherwise it will be false. Symmetrically, there's the OR operator. So rain could be trouble when I wore my felt hat or when I brought pure sodium. Either one of those circumstances could cause trouble when it rains, and so I have an OR between them. The only time that it is raining and I have my umbrella is when it's raining and I have my umbrella. But on the other hand, rain could be trouble when either I brought sodium or I wore my felt hat. And finally, the third logical operation that you need to be sure you are aware of is the negation operator, which is represented by this exclamation point, and that turns whatever truth value we have after the exclamation point into its opposite. And so we're defining nice weather as being it is not raining. We're going to ignore things like, well, is hail not raining, and is that nice weather? We're not going to be positive about that particular question. So having established these Boolean variables, we're now in a position to process that information and have the computer make decisions about what's going to be printed out. Our first example is the simplest if statement I could think of, which evaluates if it is raining. So if it's raining, then I will get wet if I do not bring my umbrella. That's sort of the natural conclusion. And we can see when the program runs, right after it says hello world, it says I will get wet if I do not bring my umbrella, which means that indeed the variable it is raining is true. In subsequent videos, we'll cover more of the complexities of if statements, if-else statements, and the equals operator.